Morning, everybody. It's Jeff from Rust Bucket Valley Garage. We're working on a 2002 Chevy S10, 2.2 liter extended cab. Today, we're having problems getting the four of the eight internal monitors to close so we can take and go for smog. And this one right here has actually got us scratching our head a little bit, and been working on it off and on. Since this is our truck, we can kind of take our time. But no matter what we did several drive cycles. The internal monitors would not close. The internal monitors that were open was the secondary air. It's got a little air pump right under the radiator that under certain engine conditions it takes and fires up, and it puts air into the exhaust to take and make the gas that comes out of the engine, in the exhaust pipe, a little bit sweeter, so it's not as polluting. Okay, so that's one of them. One of them was catalyst not ready, one was heater not ready, which is the O2 sensor, and the other one is O2 sensor is not ready. So on this one right here, there are two O2 sensors, one with a heater, which means it has 4 wires, one without a heater that has 2 wires, just for the O2 sensor. The one without a heater has never been changed before, so we decided to just go ahead and change that as a preventive maintenance thing. And if you've been listening to this channel for a little while, it almost sounds like we're starting to load the parts cannon, and to a certain extent we are, because we were running a little bit low on our bag of tricks. With everything else seemingly okay, we put our computer on here and we didn't see any codes. The check engine light was not illuminated. So with no codes and everything acting like it should, this was a little bit of a tough one. Okay, so crawled underneath and we looked at all the wiring, see if any of the wiring was damaged. It was not. All the connectors were good. There was no corrosion. It's California. We don't generally get much corrosion here, like Erico does in New York. And that's probably, most of what he deals with is grounds that have been rotted off and bad connectors. We hardly ever get that here, because they don't salt the roads. We don't get snow, that kind of stuff. So we're thinking that possibly the engine control computer is acting up a little bit, and there was another symptom that the engine sounded it was out of time just a little bit, because it would pop every now and then, only on start. So what we decided to do is we got another engine computer, and we went ahead and got that, and we went ahead and installed that, and we actually had exactly the same symptoms. So this engine control computer right here, fully programmed and everything, we had the passive security system disabled. We had it programmed out, so you don't have to take it to the dealer and get it programmed. So it was actually plug and play. So it cost us another $50. That's the reason it was about $200. And it was a plug and play. You put it in, you start it up, everything's fine. Okay. One thing nice about this computer is that it has updated software in it. Okay. The updated software gave us more information than we previously had when we're looking on the computer. So we actually got a code, PO463, okay, which if you go ahead and look that up, it will be intermittent gas gauge. Okay, I was not under the impression that for the internal monitors to run, it checks the gas gauge. You know, that is a new one. I've been working on cars for a long time, and this one really made me scratch my head. Okay, so I checked the wiring for the gas gauge, and everything seemed pretty good, so it's got to be the unit. Okay, you want to be careful because of two things. First thing is, these things are very expensive. Okay, list price is about $405. Okay, so yeah, that's a big one. Also, they're a real bummer to change. One time about 8 or 10 years ago, I changed one of these and I dropped the fuel tank and got it that way, and I swear I'd never do it again because it was just a nightmare. Looking on YouTube University, they actually came up with a very good idea to raise the bed. Okay, so I took and raised the bed, and there are 2 bolts in this corner, 2 bolts on the other corner, 2 bolts on this corner here, 2 bolts on this corner here, and then we just use a jack to take and raise it up. Okay, and the fuel pump is right here. Okay, so there's a lock ring on here, right on here, and you just take a drift and you turn that around, and then you take this up and then you hold it at an angle and the thing will come out. Okay, the tricky thing is getting these connectors off. You have to be very careful that you don't take and break them. A small screwdriver on 2 of them, okay, which is this one right here, the outside one and the inside one, helps in a measurable amount. There are 2 tabs here that you take, see right here, the white ones. You just pry those apart, this thing comes off. Okay, this one right here, there's kind of a band here and there's a band on the bottom. You go ahead and squeeze those together. This one comes off. This one right here is a little bit different. There's a little window right here. There's a window on the other side. Stick a small screwdriver in there. You push those in and this thing comes off. This is the fuel. This I think is the vapor. And this right here is the overpressure ejector return, that if the injectors get too much fuel pressure, it dumps it and then it returns to the tank. Okay, so, and then you have the pressure sensor, and you have the connections to the fuel pump. We were looking at these. So this is the connector for the pressure sensor. This one looks fine. It goes in, it locks. This one, however, it goes in, but it does not lock. Okay, so we have another one ordered from Napa, and we'll be picking that up later on this afternoon, and we'll take and cut back the wiring harness right here, and we'll take and install that so it's got a brand new connector on it. So you're saying, why did you change the fuel pump and an indicator assembly? Because the individual parts, the pump's available, the gas gauge assembly indicator is not available as a separate assembly. And let me show you what was actually going on with there. So we have the old pump out, and it is right here. Okay, so you'll see right here that there are a piece of ceramic. It's probably alumina. Okay, and then it has printed on it a resistor. Okay, and it varies the voltage that goes to your gas gauge. Okay, this thing is supplied with 5 volts, so how many volts it gets, you know, through this resistor right here is you know, what your gas gauge reads. If you look at this one right here, we looked at it under a microscope, and right in this area here, right in the middle of the band, there is about 12 itty-bitty little tiny cracks, okay, in the element. So I can see where that could possibly take and go intermittent. So that was very interesting. I've never had one go like this before. I have had the pump, which is actually down in here. Okay, I've had that go, but not the gas gauge itself. So I like to get to the bottom of what's going on with these things and why what happens. Okay, so since the onboard computer, the brand new onboard computer, takes and gives you more information, it also gives you information on your computer screen what has run on the internal monitors and what has not run on the internal monitors and what is the result. Okay, so looking at the results on the Autel, I have a TS805, and you pull up the screen for the engine, and then you look at the individual modules, and that's where we found the code, which we did not see before because this ECM has updated software in it that gives you more information. It seems whenever the internal monitors would try and run, the gas gauge would go intermittent and it would fail the test. So it didn't just do it one time, it actually did it 5 times. So you'd see an attempt to run, and then it would fail, and then it would attempt to run, and then it would run, and then the gas gauge would go in open, and then just for a second, and then it would stop the test. Okay, so this is a really weird one. Haven't seen this before. I'm glad I was finally able to take and figure out what's going on. So right now we are held up for parts, and we are waiting for that connector. We'll have that after lunch, but we'll get this back together this afternoon and it'll be running. Obviously I'm going to take and turn it on and run it for a while with the bed still in this position, see if the pump and everything is okay, see if the gas gauge is okay. But I just thought I'd bring this little story to you. It's very interesting, you know, the troubleshooting that you have to go through and some of the things, you know, and we needed an updated ECM to give us the additional data to give us the troubleshooting hints that we really needed to solve this problem. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope I've given you some real good information, and we'll see you next time. Thank you all my subscribers. Thank you all my viewers. We love you all. We'll see you next time.